The Greatest Depression, Why Aid for Families Told You So. Trillions with a capital T are flushed down the toilet of imaginary worth. Every week the impossible happens. Last year, when Aid for Families tried to revolutionize wealth distribution, we were laughed at and harassed. The FBI, attorney generals, RCMP, and various other muscle for industry agencies, masquerading as public and consumer protectors, have been asleep at the switch. The CSA, Canada's Bank Protection Group, brags in its annual report about running over 200 new competitors from the market in 2007. Meanwhile, the media kept trying to talk the markets up to assist their advertisers. Insane notions like the Canadian economy is separate from that of the American. Very few economies are separate from the American, least of which the Canadian. The hoax was that the competition was bad for the public. The government funnels tax dollars and imaginary dollars to the central banks, who compute it to banks. Then banks put large law firms on retainer and buy large lots of media advertising. The other tax dollars are spent persecuting competitors by so-called regulators. An interesting choice of terms. So in practical terms, the way it plays out is industry sicks their law enforcement and regulators on any competitors. Then their media lackeys hype the downfall of the competitors as public safety, then cut to a commercial by their benefactors. Like Dr. Phil says, how's it working for you? Actually, you don't know yet, since they loathe to tell you anything bad, and worse still, if they're not quoting industry insiders as news, then they actually have an analyst to give the report. We haven't changed the front page of our website since the end of last summer, and it reads like today's headlines. If the governments weren't emptying the taxpayer coffers to keep us from helping people, then you would know how we could remedy this situation in the future. If our website wasn't under industry control, we would be telling you about the bubble that's being blown up for the next explosion. Painfully enough, this explosion won't be over before the next one starts. So we're looking at an explosion inside an implosion. Oil, gold, and few too many currencies are being blown into super bubble safe havens, the way real estate had been after the tech bubble burst in 2001. What's really going on? Two things. The largest hoax correction in history. The New World Order has become the Now World Order. You thought it would never happen. Someone would stop it. No one did. Globalization, free slave trade, you bought it hook, line, and sinker. Now Canada invades countries. Now corporations complain to world regulatory agencies that supersede all sovereignty of nations. Exxon made and GM lost $38 billion last year. Canada and India get all America's call centers. Mexico gets America's factories. And America gets their engineers and doctors. Oh, and what did the media tell you? That there were protesters in Miami, Seattle, and Quebec making trouble for progress, and you believed it. Why wouldn't you? What time do you have to study the situation for yourself? With 3 jobs to equal the pay of 1 a generation ago. You want more money? Work more hours and be more productive, and maybe we won't move the company to China this year. When you wake up, the money, real and imagined, will be in fewer hands as the central bank cartel exercises more power as they act the way the U.S. administration did after 9/11. Trillions are being funneled to contractors for this oversized training mission to test urban upheaval warfare and high-tech gadgetry in Iraq. Trillions are being funneled to the central banking mob, working in concert, the media tells us. Why? Because the government doesn't have the money that's being spent to bail out the people who stole money in the first place. Which means you have to pay all of this back to the government who borrowed it from the people they bailed out, who stole it in the first place. It's simple. You won't do anything about it. Gas has tripled and civil liberties trampled. But if you do get a wild hair in your butt and decide not to take it, then that's what all the urban warfare and gadgetry training is for.